So it's about Christmas time, it's the holidays, and that means that of course between friends and family, myself and a lot of other techies out there are building a lot of computers as gifts for people to give other people or anything like that. There's a lot of computers being built, and on top of that there are plenty of computers being built on a budget. And so today I want to show you how I managed to build a computer for about $500 USD, 750 AUD, what its specs are, what the priorities were, and how you can do it yourself. I'm actually pretty proud of this build, especially for the budget, and especially because we had to squeeze in a keyboard, mouse, and monitor as well. And without further ado, let's get into our $500 computer build. We'll move some of these parts off to the side for the second. Now, a little bit of context for this build. This build is for a younger child who mostly wants it for Fortnite, Roblox, and some like YouTube videos and stuff. And so it doesn't exactly have to be a powerhouse, of course. They also very specifically, even though it's on a budget build, wanted some RGB and some lights. First, we're going to go into our motherboard. Went with AMD because they've got some very good budget options compared to Intel. Intel's budget options are kind of mediocre in my opinion. And so we went with AMD just for better budget options for things like CPUs and stuff, as well as motherboards. Intel's probably got a better upgrade path. AMD's got better just flat out budget options. With the caveat to this as well being, this is a tip I recommend all techies doing. If you've got lots of friends that you build computers for or work on computers for, I recommend you do this. Make sure if you're building computers for people, unless they have a reason not to be, put them all on the same infrastructure. Put them all on AMD, put them all on Intel, because that's what I've been doing. My computer, my siblings' computer, all my friends' computers, they're all on AMD. It makes repairing so much easier because all my spare parts are all for AMD. But we've got the Gigabyte B550MK. It's just an all-round solid motherboard. It's nothing special, but it'll get the job done. An AM4, even though it's technically discontinued, is still a very good platform, especially for budget builds in my opinion. It's got all the features we want, as well as a bit of an upgrade path. It's AM4. It's got all the PCI lanes we need. It's MATX. Again, similarly, unless you've got a reason not to, for budget builds, I recommend for the most part going with MATX. Generally, cheaper motherboards are easier to get for MATX. This one set us back. I'll have the prices on the screen as we go through the items, but from memory, this one was roughly about 100 AUD. And it's just all around a solid motherboard. For our CPU, of course, we've got Ryzen AMD. AMD Ryzen 5500, which is one of the lowest end for the 5000 series, but it's still 6 cores, 12 threads, 3.6 gigahertz base, 4.2 boost. It doesn't have inbuilt graphics, but I'll talk about why in a bit. A lot of budget builds will have inbuilt graphics. I think there's a pretty good alternative to that. Yeah, got the Ryzen CPU here, and we will be using the stock cooler as well. The CPU is low enough that I'm pretty confident in using the stock cooler. I don't see it being an issue. Lift up our lever arm. AMD Ryzen 5 5500, which I've got in another friend's build. It's a pretty solid CPU. It's nothing extraordinary, but it's a solid CPU. I recommend if you build multiple computers, hang on to these, especially for AMD CPUs. They come in really handy for casing CPUs that you're not actively working with. But let's get out some thermal paste. This was about on sale, 150 AUD. The reason I'm working with USD is because more of my viewers are from America than Australia, even though I'm Australian, but that's okay. So far, everything I've bought off of Amazon so far. Now, especially when doing budget builds, while I haven't shown any of these parts yet, when doing budget builds, there are some parts that I recommend getting second-hand opposed to brand new. I know there are a lot of people against that, but I'm a really big advocate for it. I'll talk about the alternatives to going second-hand as I get to those parts, but I'm a big advocate of second-hand parts for a few different reasons. One of them being the standard e-waste reason. It keeps them out of the rubbish and landfills. And the second one being it's a fair bit cheaper for the most part. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't use these brands specifically, or these parts. Your list will probably fluctuate a little bit depending on what's on sale, because the CPU was on sale and I think the motherboard had a small sale on it from memory. Our AMD stock cooler is in, and now comes the RAM. I've got 16 gigs because RAM is getting cheaper and cheaper nowadays, of 3200 megahertz. DDR4. This motherboard does have 4 slots, which means there's room to upgrade it to 32 without requiring replacing the existing kit, which for budget builds I think is really important. I also think this is a really nice looking kit of RAM. It's the Patriot Viper. I've been using it a fair bit. As per usual, make sure you're going into the right RAM slots. Let's install our SSD. Now you might notice, even for a budget build, that's only 500 gigs. That's not a lot. Now that is because, very specifically for this build, I don't encourage doing this for every build, but for this build, when I was asking the parent of the kid, they said they would rather have a lot of storage. And so what we've done is we've got an SSD for the boot drive and stuff. And while it's kind of frowned upon nowadays, we've got a 2 terabyte hard drive to go in. One thing I really like about new motherboards though, not on all of them, but a lot of them nowadays, a lot of them will use non-screw tabs to hold it in place. That's most of everything we can do before the case, and so let's talk about the case. Now the case, that is something that I think should be bought secondhand. Computers have used the ATX format for a very long time, which means a very new motherboard is still compatible with a very old case. This is not a very old case, but it's a nice looking case still. It does have a disk drive, which I actually like. I still like a good disk drive, but it's still a very nice looking case that was secondhand for pretty cheap. It'll still do the job. I still need to dust it out admittedly, but this is our option for case. So that way, just because it's not gonna affect performance. If you're going for aesthetic, that's one thing, but we don't really have that room in a budget build. And so this is the case we've got to work with. Pop our IO shield in. I hate IO shields with a passion because they never want to get just into place. We can chuck our motherboard in. I will of course dust the computer before I give it to the person. Once our motherboard is in, we can chuck in our hard drive. We have placed our hard drive in. We'll just screw that in. 2 terabytes, Western Digital Blue. That is off of Amazon, but is a refurbished drive. And while I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, especially for higher end builds, I don't dislike a hard drive for just some additional space. I don't mind one. It's not my favorite call, but I don't hate it. A lot of people really don't like hard drives nowadays, but I don't know, I like it still. But here comes one of our fun bits, our power supply. Now the power supply is pretty important, and this is one of the bits I would not recommend going for just the cheap option on, as your power supply is going to be one, if you get a dodgy power supply, it is the most likely part to kill other PC parts. It is the most likely part to do things like catch fire, and it is one of the most expensive parts to upgrade later on. So if you get even just a half decent one early, it makes it a lot easier to upgrade in the long term. If you're planning to upgrade your computer, make sure you get a solid power supply. Here we've got the Asus Tough Gaming 750 watt bronze. Not incredible by any means, but it'll get the job done. I don't think it's modular, which will make building it with it a slight inconvenience. It's got some tough stickers, Asus stickers, certificate of reliability. If you've got the choice, I would always recommend going for a modular power supply, but especially in budget builds, we're not exactly always getting that choice. So we've got a solidly sized power supply. It's not a bad one either. Let's slap this into the build. Then we're good to start cable management, I think. Always, if you can, put your power supply facing down so that you can intake fresh air from the bottom. Unless, of course, your case doesn't have an intake, which admittedly, if it's that old, I might not recommend getting one. 750 watt by Asus Tough. Not the power supply to rule them all, but it's not bad. And it will more than power this build. Cable managing this build is going to be fun though. Power supply is mounted. Before we get that out of the way, may as well just do it while we're here. Got the fans. I got some Thermalright TLC12CS pack of 3. Are an RGB fan. Even though there's no glass side panel on this case, there was emphasis on wanting there to be lights, and honestly this should be, on a smaller build, these 3 fans should provide more than enough. I put 2 as intakes, 1 as an outtake. I've actually got pretty high hopes for the aesthetics of this build, and I have just noticed I don't think our motherboard has no RGB headers, which I did not account for. I can chuck an RGB controller in it, but that's really interesting, not what I would have guessed. Fans can be daisy chained at least. All the fans are in. We're going to have to do some cable management before we move forward, so I'm just going to quickly hammer through that, as well as either find out if this motherboard has an RGB header, or if I've got a controller lying around, which I should. So let's snap to that. So we're not exactly done with the cable management, obviously, but everything is hooked up. I did have to go get an RGB controller, but that's okay. But before I cable manage too much further, I've got to chuck the last 2 parts in, with one of them being the graphics card, which was a bit of a weird choice. I went with the GTX 970, which, yes, before people say it, is an old card, but it's still a pretty powerful one, especially for a budget build. This would be the first part I recommend to the person to upgrade, but it's not a bad option. It's for the price they are as well. They're very good performance secondhand. Stronger than something like a 1050, which is still a very popular graphics card. It's by no means a powerhouse, but it'll play some games. So we're gonna just chuck that in. There we go. Cable manage that in a second, but also, especially because it's for a kid, they did want Wi-Fi, so I've just got a basic PCI Wi-Fi card, which we'll chuck in as well. Let's get it all cable managed, and ideally up and running. So I've cable managed a little bit more, but it's just dawned on me as well that I want to make sure this thing fires up before I go too much further. This isn't necessarily a post test, this is just making sure that it turns on, you know? So that's a fun sound. Plugged into power. Okay, let's chuck the front panel back on, then try again. Let me hit the power switch. G-spin still alive. Some of our... There is something stuck in that fan, clearly. But we're spinning to life, and we have LEDs. But I've sort of checked with the monitor, but it looks like we've got a working PC, which is incredible. It spins to life, which is good. I think it's working. I'll finish cable management, and then we'll do a proper test with the monitor. But that's a good sign, and it's not a bad looking build either. We've got our LEDs, that's for sure. I feel like that goal was achieved because we've got the controller without the PC even necessarily turning on. Posting because we've got the controller, we've got access to switching all our RGB. TLDR, I like how it's turned out so far. So let's finish some cable management and close her up, and then let's do some testing. This is looking good. And then with that, I believe we've got a computer built. So we're just going to check that it posts. Power switch is on. I think the monitor is turned on in it. Monitor is turned on. This is essentially a cheap one. 500 USD budget for the entire setup. We can only do so much with the monitor, so it's a cheap one I found. It's only DVI and HDMI, but it's not a bad one. Looks pretty solid. I don't mind it. But if I power on the computer, oh, that's very fun. We're not posting. Oh, power switch was the wrong way. Here we go. There we go. We've got post. We have got a running computer. This is not the mouse and keyboard that I'm going to run with it. I'll show you them in a moment. There we go. We've got a BIOS, X and P. There we go. Both of our drives are there. System fans are there. As far as I'm aware, that's everything running. X and P is now done. Let's try and install some Windows. While we're doing that, obviously I've got the computer itself, which I've been putting prices up as I go. You might notice there's about $100 AUD left there, in which I spent 50 on the keyboard, 50 on the mouse. For the keyboard, we've got the McGee MK Star 75, which is just a solid mechanical keyboard. I'm going to leave these in box and not get them out, because this is a Christmas present for someone. That way they've got something brand new to unbox. It's just a solid, good looking mechanical keyboard though. And the Logitech Lightspeed G305. Again, just a solid mouse, and it was on sale. Solid gaming mouse, solid keyboard. Nothing to complain about there. Let's install some Windows, shall we? And then with that, that is one of the best budget builds for about 500 USD, which is an entire setup. Sadly, I'm probably not going to be able to benchmark, as truthfully, this build just simply took a little bit longer than I had anticipated, and I've got to get it to the person for Christmas. I'm under a time crunch, and sadly I'm just not going to have time to benchmark. But this is almost certainly, it's 6 cores, 12 threads, 4GB GPU. It'll run the Roblox and the Fortnite that they wanted to run easily. It'll easily run it, anything that you need it to. It'll store plenty of stuff because it's got the 2 drives. It is certainly not a bad looking little build either, if I do say so myself. I'll get some footage of just the build running in a second, but I'm pretty proud of this build for the budget. I hope you either use this as a guide or just as like a general idea for your own build. The TLDRs being for things like second-hand parts, I'd recommend looking at case and GPU. Don't skimp out on your motherboard and CPU. Make sure you've got an upgrade path for that though. On top of the power supply, make sure you don't skimp out. And I think with that, that's most of the main details. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'm a small creator, that would help out a ton. I hope to see you in the next one. If you've got any other building challenges, or just like challenges you want to see me build, like building with a blindfold on, or something like that, feel free to let me know. Or just what you want to see. I'm a small creator, so a subscription would help out a ton. Even just sharing the video. I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.